What's going on, traders? In this video, we're going to go over a stock that I think is going to go absolutely parabolic to the upside and why you should consider trading it. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So I know you guys are going to want me to go over the SPY, the triple Qs, the VIX, and all that fun stuff. But I mean, what do we really talk about here? We just been consolidating. Any type of downside we get, bull step in. Any type of upside we get, bear step in. It's just really not much to talk about here. I mean, even today, we had hot CPI data come in. We saw the market drop or the SPY drop all the way towards 598, and then bull stepped in and we immediately bounced off that 598 level. So, if anything, this should tell you just how significant that level is. All right. We talk about 598 all the time and how important that level is. Anytime we break below that level, we see a massive breakdown across the market. So, once again, for the 100th time, if we break below 598, then chances are we're heading towards the low 590s. In regards to upside, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know this or a genius. You get above 610, you're heading towards all-time highs. That's pretty much it. Okay, that's pretty much all I can give you in regards to the SPY. Until the market makes a decision on direction, there's really not much to talk about here. All right, and that's pretty much it. Now, what I will say is this: ES. The fact that ES is above 60, 70 is a good sign for the bulls. Another thing is if ES gets above 6,100, you might squeeze to the upside. All right, you might see a squeeze towards the upside. And when I say a squeeze, I'm talking about a move all the way as high as 6,200. So what you want to see here, all right, because I don't want people tagging me as soon as we get above 6,100. You want to see a break and retest, right? So you get above 6,100, right? You break, and then these guys are probably going to step in right here. These guys and these guys, all these bears in these areas are going to try to step in and break the ES back down, right? So you see a break, retest, and if we can hold 6,100, we can start squeezing back towards the upside, all right? And we can start seeing a move towards 6,200. All right, it's not a guarantee or anything. Just pay attention. We do have more news coming up this week, and then I believe it's a 3-day weekend. So yeah, don't marry the idea. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying if we do get above 6,100, you definitely want to watch for this potential move. That's pretty much all I have when it comes to the ES. NQ, you want to see a move above pretty much 21,900. You get above 21,900. I'm not saying you're going to squeeze. I would say you will squeeze if you get above 22,100, 22,000, give or take. But that's pretty much all I have when it comes to the NQ, the SPY, triple Qs. There's just not much to talk about here. We're just consolidating, and I'll just be repeating the same things over and over. So let's get into the stock that I think is going to go absolutely insane towards the upside, and that stock is Adobe. All right. This thing looks beautiful. There's so many reasons why I think this thing is going to go crazy. First things first is ascending triangle. We broke above this ascending triangle and we not only broke above it, we mounted it, we consolidated above it, then we broke higher. And then this morning when we got that hot CPI data, we came back down to retest the top of the ascending triangle and look what happened. Bull stepped in, broke us back higher, and then we go to the weekly time frame. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better the more you talk about it, right? We go to the weekly time frame, and we broke and held above 461.5, right? So right here, you see these guys right here. Hopefully you guys can see these guys right here, right? We broke and held above these guys here. So we go to back to the 4-hour time frame, and as you guys can see, we have mounted that key level. We're actually a little bit further above it, but we mounted that key level. What makes this even better is that we're within the range of these guys right here. So these guys can help hold Adobe up, as long as the market agrees, of course, right? We'll talk about that in a bit. But these guys right here, the fact that we're in this area, that we broke into this area right here, just shows that we can hold this area for quite some time. Now, how long this happens, I don't know. But yeah, we can hold this area for quite some time. So my worry at first was us just holding, like not holding, but just staying below this area right here. If we stay below these guys, then that would have been worrisome. And then at any given moment, we could just break back down, which we did see, but bull stepped in, right? Um, and another thing is that we go to the daily time frame. I mean, it just keeps getting better. You go to the daily time frame and you have an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You got your shoulder here. You got your head here, and then you have another shoulder here. I mean, it's just beautiful across the board. So you have an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You got an ascending triangle. You're breaking above key levels. You held above 461.5. I mean, it just keeps getting better. And so we zoom out, right? We zoom out. this little pattern right here. Okay, so let's just erase everything real quick. This little pattern right here, the way that we closed on the date. Okay, if we go back in time and we look for this pattern, every time this pattern shows up, I'm not saying every single time, but a lot of the times this pattern shows up, you get a massive move to the upside. So right here, you see it. Right here, you see the same thing happen as well. Here, you kind of got a little bit of a breakdown and then you start to head further up. But I mean, a lot of cases where you've seen this pattern show up, good things happen. All right. If you're bullish, okay, good things do happen. So that's another thing I want you to pay attention to. All right. So we go to quant data because I know people are going to ask, well, what contract should we be looking at? All right. So you go to quant data. And institutions are in 480 calls for March 7th, 2025. 179K premium. And as you guys can see, you scroll down, you see more 480 calls for the same date, March 7th. All right. So definitely want to check this play out. Do your own due diligence, do your own research, but I am really liking it. So let's go down the line once again. You have an inverse head and shoulders pattern, shoulder here, head here, another shoulder here, ascending triangle. You broke out of that ascending triangle. You came back, you broke in. You not only did you break out of it, but you retested it multiple times, and bears have failed to break us back down. You broke out of here, you mounted it, you broke higher, you broke back down because of CPI data. What happened? You retested, you bounced off that ascending triangle once again, and now you're heading higher and you have closed above a key level once again. All right. So this thing looks absolutely beautiful. I have a price target of 490. I think it can head as high as 490. If we do the measured move for the ascending triangle or even, the head and shoulders pattern, let's do the ascending triangle because that's just easier. All you do is measure the open and close of the ascending triangle. You bring that measurement to the top of the ascending triangle, and you're looking at a move all the way towards 510. And you're pretty illiquid up in this area too. So there's something to pay attention to. You are really, really illiquid here. Now, before we go marrying this and everything like that, again, do your due diligence, do your own research. The market needs to be bullish, all right? Obviously. Okay. If the market isn't bullish, if the market isn't pumping, then all of this can go straight to the abyss. Okay. I mean, this morning you saw what happened. CPI data pretty much tanked the market. We had like a little flash crash or whatever. And what happened? Adobe followed along. So it's important to pay attention to the market and where it currently is before you start jumping into this. Okay. And that's pretty much all I have. I mean, 490, that's all I have. 490, maybe it can head as high as 510. You're pretty illiquid once you get above 485. I will say that much. You're very illiquid. I mean, extremely illiquid. What causes this? I don't know. But Adobe has been getting a lot of good news lately. So you definitely want to take this trade seriously. If you are interested in it, do your own research. Um, don't take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. All right. So that's pretty much all I have when it comes to Adobe. A few earnings plays. All right, so this is why I really love this tool. So APP. So APP. APP. All right, app. I am childish. I seriously need to grow up. So APP. So this stock had earnings, and I remember someone in the Discord mentioning it a few times. And this thing went absolutely parabolic. I mean, you went all the way from 380 to 486, and it's probably going to hit 500 tomorrow morning. We'll see. But when it comes to this stock, so right before close, hopefully I click on the right one. But I mean, this is just how powerful quant data is. I really encourage you guys to get this tool or just get you a broker or something, not a broker, but an options chain, something, okay, anything, because they're literal cheat codes. They help you a lot. They increase your win rate dramatically, okay? So today, before close, 450 calls came in for APP. Okay, right here. Okay, so 450 calls for February 14th came in right before close. As you guys can see, this came in at 9 minutes before close. So literal cheat code. Another stock, Robinhood. Robinhood went absolutely parabolic, and I mentioned all these in the Discord as well. So you're missing out. Okay, join the Discord if you want access to these types of earnings calls, things like that. I mean, right before close, Robinhood. Again, hopefully I click on the right one. Robinhood. And you can check Robinhood on your app. You can see where it is currently after hours. I think it's at like 64 after hours, maybe 63. Probably dropped a little bit, but regardless, right before close, we had 61 calls come in for Robinhood. Institutions loaded up on 61 calls. There's a lot of spikes here, so I might not even get it right. But yeah, you got like 60 calls here, another 60 call here, 60 calls, 60 calls. So yeah, a lot of 60 calls. There was a few 61 calls that came in. Another earnings play that could have easily won. Reddit, right? Reddit is tanking after hours, right? I think it broke all the way towards like 180, probably like 184 after hours. But Reddit, I mean, this thing absolutely tanked after hours. Hopefully, I click on the right one again. But 180 calls, I mean, 180 puts came in for Reddit, and it absolutely just went to the abyss after hours. All right. So, probably not going to find this one. I'm going to be clicking a lot trying to find it. But yeah, there were 180 calls that came in right before close for Reddit. I pointed that out in the Discord as well. Absolutely insane drop. It went all the way from like 218, 220, all the way towards 180. So here, well, here's some puts. I didn't even notice these 195 puts. So as you guys can see, a lot of 195 puts came in right before close. These came in like 10 minutes before close. So yeah, I mean, if you don't join the Discord, check out Quant Data link in the description below. Literal cheat code, guys. I mean, all these earnings plays I put out in the Discord, they were right before it closed. I can't put out everything on time because I get those alerts, 10 minutes or 5 minutes before it closed. But yeah, um, had you been in the Discord, you probably would have benefited off those. We're definitely going to be paying attention to Datadog tomorrow morning because Datadog does have earnings in the morning as well. And I think 170 calls came in right before it closed. So definitely watch Datadog, and then we'll talk about it in another video. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. Discord link is in the description below. Quant Data link is in the description below. If you want access to this tool, very, very powerful tool. I mean, literal cheat code here, guys. You get to see what institutions are doing. I mean, if you're not using an options chain, you're just trading half blind. That's just how I feel. All right, all right. But other than that, that's all I have.